read off the objectives. So the theme of this website is a blog. So they're going to create a blog website that is a very vague theme. So that means they can make a blog about whatever they want. Essentially, it's almost like a open theme, if you will, as long as they get the blog element of a website in there. So objective number 1, they need to create the ability to create blog posts which when posted show title, user type, and date or time. So some JavaScript action there. Objective number 2, the blog posts need to be editable and deletable. Another JavaScript objective there. Objective number 3, a sidebar that lists the title of the post and removes them when deleted. I'm going to skip the song as well. Objective number 4, the user account levels. User, in parentheses, can't edit nor delete, and admin has all access. And last but not least, we have that bonus objective indicated in yellow. Clicking read more expands blog posts to show full article with animation. Alright, so mods, be ready with me. We're going to do that 10-second countdown with me so we can get the timer started. I am going to be typing the start game command, so don't worry about that. Done. Here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, bam. So we have 8-second extra time just to give the teams time to respond. There we go, we're at 60 minutes. Time has started. This game is super JavaScript heavy. That doesn't mean that JavaScript and CSS doesn't have anything to do. Take a look at that right off the bat. We see in the JavaScript the Pepper Angus comment being represented by Jack CC Man. That is a team name that we've been seeing even on season 1. So in the future, when we introduce team battles where you're able to pre-construct teams, even come up with your own team name and emblem, that should be super exciting. We're also going to be introducing prizes for team games. So a lot to look forward to there. The song name that we're playing right now, the name of it is called High. The artist is called JPB. So far blue team has a major start by typing. We have CSS and the HTML being added right away. Got that doc type HTML. Red team needs to start adding stuff. The bets will open in 5 minutes or shortly here. So once the bot mentions that bets are open, make sure you get your bets in before it closes. Alright, so 58 minutes left on the clock. So far 2 minutes was killed in the blue team CSS. Looks like we have, we're targeting everything indicated by that all selector, which is that asterisk, and we're just adding box sizing. There are no resets yet. We got the basic template structured on the blue team. We got the doc type, HTML head and body. That's all standard. We still are looking for the JavaScript and CSS to be imported. So that's standard stuff. Red team, we are making a start on the code there, so they're catching up. We have a open function on the JavaScript, no name for it or anything, it's just open, and that just disappeared. 57 minutes on the clock. So on the red team, they're adding the title tag, which is good. They're also linking that style sheet. That's what they're working on at the moment. So yeah, make use of our commands because we have a bunch of tools available for you viewers to be able to enhance your viewing experience. So no activity on the red team CSS. Honeypop asks, when can you bet? Just keep an eye on the chat. The bot will eventually prompt you on when you can bet. Okay, so I just received word that red team CSS is okay, so nothing going on there. They're probably just strategizing at the moment. And in fact, we do see activity right off the bat. We got the ID of content. That selector is open. That ID isn't even available in the DOM right now, so he's more than likely he's going to create that CSS ahead of time and let his HTML guy, which is Pavlin, know to add that in his HTML. So on the blue team, they did import the Open Sans font, super popular font from Google. They got their resets. On the red team, they don't have any resets or anything like that. And they have their body tag open, or selector open, so that does suggest that they are going to be adding maybe resets there eventually. The bets are open, so if you want to bet, go ahead and type !bet the amount of dev bits and what team you're betting on. Some people are going all in. That's super awesome. We have JavaScript. Whoa. We have JavaScript in the in the blue team. A good amount actually. Compared to the red team, of course. A lot of people going all in. Some people just don't care. So people going all in on blue, I would say that's pretty wise, but it could turn around. It's super risky. You have 10 minutes to vote. So I mean bet. So maybe some of you are cautious on your debits. You have some time to just kind of stall. "53 minutes on the clock, 7 minutes was already killed." I would say as far as HTML, they're about even. I mean, obviously blue team is ahead. Red team has the content ID still not added in their HTML. It looks like I think he's about to add his. I think red team's about to add the JavaScript in the HTML. Generally, the JavaScript should be loaded right near the end of the body tag. "52 minutes on the clock." Mostly blue team is ahead just mostly because of their JavaScript. We have a blink function open on the red team. So hopefully he starts typing stuff in there. I mean, he has 52 minutes. That is a lot of time. Make sure to get your votes in before it closes. Okay, so on the blue team, it looks like Forever Young, who is handling HTML, is getting a major start right now by adding the actual content in the HTML. And that's going to give JavaScript and CSS plenty of data to work with. Because the way it works here on DevWars is since you're only able to code in your own language, CSS and JavaScript can only progress as far as their HTML content allows them to. Yeah, false farts. You made a point on won't people bet on the team that they betted for? Probably, but the amount of voters we have will generally exceed or dictate where the game's going to go. However, we are planning on, by next week, we're going to actually eliminate that ability to, you know, be able to that loophole is going to be closed essentially, because the bets are going to be determined on the objectives, which team completes the most objectives, as opposed to which team wins. That way, it's completely under the team's control as opposed to your control. If you have any feedback that you want to suggest for DevWars, let us know on our Reddit or on our website. So, blue team is on fire. Overall, they have more code. Red team has essentially their boilerplate set up. They got their HTML5 header tag in place, just with no content added. So, on their JavaScript on the red team, we have a variable for user level, which is one of the objectives. This is very JavaScript heavy, these objectives here. So hopefully blue and red know their stuff. Obviously on the blue team, they know what they're doing. I mean, not much has been added here to be able to say that the JavaScript would work here. So far we have just variables declared and such. We have an alert of LOL, so very troll. I'm gonna go show you guys the blue team's website. So 48 minutes left on the clock. This is what they have done so far on the blue team. We do see that LOL message displayed. We got their posts in preparation. Some of you are probably scratching your heads wondering how are they going to be able to complete these objectives with JavaScript without backend. They are more than able to handle this with JavaScript. Let's take a look at red team now. How about that? Here's red team. Nothing on the red team. There's literally no HTML content that we could load. I mean, they have HTML content in there, but no text or images or anything to be able to showcase here. So we're going to go back over to the code. So Pavlin, who's handling HTML, is just, you can see him right now in between those header tags, just waiting for something to be typed. There's certainly a lot to be doing here. No excuse to be waiting around. lot of new followers. Thank you for the follows. Alright, so we got those, we got more HTML content being added right now on the blue team. Good job, Forever Young, to be constantly adding those things. That's giving your teammates a lot to work with. As you can see here in the CSS, how do you say his name? M Cuddy. I'm gonna call him M Cuddy. M Cuddy, who is handling CSS on the blue team. He's working on pseudo elements, so he's working on both the before and after pseudo. I wonder what he's trying to cook up here using that. That's very interesting. Alright, so on the red team, we finally have HTML text. I would say actual content inside of the red team's code. We have that header dev blog, that heading. So, I mean, other than that, that's about it, other than, like, you know, selectors or tags that are available to code. And red team CSS, they're doing a bit of unusual selectors here. So they have the way they're doing it here is they're saying, so right off the bat right here, body, so they're saying anything, and the header that's a direct sibling of body, that's their selector here. Technically all they have to do is just target that header. They don't need to use that caret selector right inside that body. That's super specific unless they're having more than one header tag, which I doubt. Like, you only need one header in your HTML. And so the CSS looks a bit confused on the red team, unfortunately. Yeah, direct child, not a sibling. That is what I meant. So even if they had a header inside of the header, it would only be targeting that one header that's directly a sibling of the body. Alright, we're going to take a look at the blue team's website. Okay, so more has been accomplished as far as HTML goes. Not much as far as styles, but I mean 44 minutes is a lot of time to do that. A lot of this is going to rely on JavaScript. Second to that, CSS, and lastly, HTML. There's going to be a lot of downtime, just like we saw in last week's game when we streamed the rocket ship objectives. So what that's going to mean is HTML is going to have to step it up, either be super creative and come up with different ideas on how to score better on the voting phase, which is we're going to be voting on design and functionality, or they can literally guide their teammates on how to code their CSS and JavaScript because they can't do it for them. What about the red team? Do we have anything to look at here? Okay, last time we looked at the red team, we didn't have anything, but now we have text in here. Yeah, not very much here. Alright, back to the code. Sorry about the follower alert volume. Eventually we're going to be replacing that with our own follow alerts. We're trying to migrate off of Twitch alerts, which is the service we're currently using. Hopefully overlayer.net will be able to be our substitution. Alright, so we have inside of our red HTML, we have a main selector, which is an HTML5 tag, and they have a side tag inside of it with the idea of posts. And in the JavaScript, we have open functions with names. That's brilliant, but nothing in the actual JavaScript. Blue team is killing it at the moment. So if you did place your bets on blue team, you are in luck. For those of you who both betted on red team. You're probably feeling a bit nervous right now, but 41 minutes left on the clock. A lot can happen during that time. I'm actually going to pop into the TeamSpeak for red team and see what's going on. I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to listen.
Bit happy because he is on the front page always.
Okay, dead silent in the red team's chat. The TeamSpeak is available for you guys to join if you're interested. That's !TS in the chat. The bot's going to go ahead and output a link for you. Copy that link. If you have TeamSpeak, connect to it. You're able to listen in on the blue or red. The amount of CSS on the blue team is major in this case. I think it's super odd how they have a ID for body. It's just a naming option here, but it's fine. So we're giving it a width of 75%. Which might mean they're going to have a sidebar with the width of 25%. That's what I'm thinking, which is objective number 3. So, very idle on the red team. Okay, so we already have local storage systems set up in the JavaScript on blue. JXCC man definitely knows JavaScript. You can tell based off his code here. He's got for loops for the post list ID. So on the red team, their JavaScript, I would say, even though you see stuff in their JavaScript, technically they have nothing happening there because there's nothing inside of those functions, therefore those functions are completely useless. Thanks to all our new followers. We do stream DevWars every single Saturday. If you're watching right now and you're like, man, I can do such a good job on this in this game, hey man, why don't you sign up for the next game? Unfortunately, we have people who are signing up who aren't taking advantage of the time that we have on the clock. I mean, 22 minutes has already been killed. And in the red team, we don't see very much done. On the blue team, however, we see a lot of content. Red team is not AFK, although it looks like they are. I don't know why they're just not doing anything at the moment. Let's take a look at blue team. This is the blue team's website. Not very much here, but definitely more than we saw from last time. Mostly HTML and JavaScript being seen here. The CSS isn't very noticeable. There is CSS added, but it's not very brilliant. Which, I mean, if red team, although they might not be able to get all the objectives, they could at least get some static blogs and style their website very well. That might put them in the lead. Let's take a look at red team. Okay, so this is red team's website. They have the header right there, dev blog. They still haven't added those resets. That's why we see those margins on the top and left. I'm gonna skip the song. Yeah, they are random people for the person who asks if the players are random or not. Someone suggested that you should add some placement off-stream games. I mean, we need a surplus of players technically, because let's go back to the code view here. Not enough people are signing up to play is our issue. But I mean, if we look at the red team, they are stepping it up here. We're seeing more activity. So more HTML is being added. That's good. I mean, it's not too hard to add HTML nor CSS. Finally, we have some JavaScript conditions inside of the function. So we're checking if the user level is user. So that is part of objective number 4, to check on your user status. A lot of CSS on the blue team compared to red. Just blue is ahead of red in every single document. If you're watching right now and you think you could do better than these teams who are playing right now, please sign up for our next game. We're going to be posting the application links right after this stream. This is going to be the last game of today. Let's see what... Okay, so on the red team, we're elaborating more on these user level functions. So we're checking if they're a user or an admin. That's what they're working on at the moment. As far as styles is concerned, he's putting a lot of properties into the header selector. We have a text align right. That's pretty different. Normally we would see text align center, but he's adding text align right. So we'll see what that looks like here shortly. Okay, we do have those resets on that body. We didn't see that earlier when we took a look at their website. That's why we saw those extra bit of white space on the top left corner of their browser. So 34 minutes left on the clock. We're seeing some complex HTML elements added on blue team. That's the form. That's going to be able to allow the JavaScript to add posts to the website. And we did see in the JavaScript they had a function for their local storage ready. So we'll see how that works. That should be pretty exciting. We did see local storage once before on DevWars when we streamed a set of objectives that had to do with social media accounts. So you had to, they replicated a social media website where you can post status updates. Alright, let's take a look at Blue Team's website, see what has been done. Alright, so 33 minutes left on the clock. This is what they have done. They have a form available. This is where you could type in the title, body, and save, of course. Let's just go ahead and try to type something here. So test. This is a test post, and I'm gonna save. Okay, so nothing happened. I'm gonna skip the song. Nothing happened yet. And so they have 32 minutes to make something happen in the JavaScript. There is so much that they could do in CSS, such as make this, they could even just make this form look well. The HTML can post static content for now, for the CSS guy to just go ahead and style that until, you know, JavaScript can make it dynamic. Let's see what about the red team. Let's see what they have done. Okay, this is kind of weird. Is that an image? Let's let's look at the source code here. Yeah, that's an image. That's that source code looking thing is an image. A bit strange. Why would they pick that background? I don't know where they're going with that, but we'll just have to see what they do. They might just have something random in there for now. They might switch it out. I don't know what they're aiming for. We'll see. Let's go back over to the code. Okay, so let's see what blue team's working on in their CSS. Not seeing any activity at the moment here. What about on, oh, here we go. So inside of that read more class, which is this right now. I'm highlighting it in the HTML on the blue team. This is that read more selector. They didn't type any properties yet. In the JavaScript, we have some variables being posted right now for that save blog function. So that's pretty cool. On the red team, I don't think red team knows very much JavaScript, if I am assuming correctly, just based on what I'm reading here. Technically, we can just say that red team doesn't have any JavaScript. Although they have stuff typed in here, technically it's just open selectors and undeclared variables that don't mean anything. We have if-else conditions without any actual content inside of it. I mean, we have some stuff like show and hide, but they're very simple things. Alright, so we're about halfway into the game here now. We are halfway into the game, 29 minutes left on the clock. Okay, so on the red team, we have some open selectors right now. That post title class, or ID rather, they're adding a float right and a float left to the post view. Okay, so what I'm assuming they're doing with that is their post view is going to be their sidebar. That's why they're having a width 30% and they're floating that to the left. And their post title ID is going to be to the right, and that's 70%. That equals to 100. So that is their 2-column grid they're setting up. I don't know. Red team might catch up. Let's take a look back on the blue team's website, see what they got going on. All right, here we go. So this is the blue team's website. You know, the form's not showing up. We did have a form here earlier. They temporarily got rid of it. That's fine. What about the red team? Let's see what the red team's got going on. Let's refresh this. So currently static information on the red team. If you're watching and you're wanting to know what's going on either blue or red, we have a TeamSpeak channel. Type !TS in the chat. Bot will output a link. Connect to it. You can listen in on either blue or red. Back to the code. So right off the bat, I notice on blue the CSS, they're targeting the input and text area inside of that post model ID, which is essentially going to be everything for that form. "27 minutes on the clock." What is JavaScript working on the blue team? I see activity up here on the post. It's a major functionality of the actual website to be able to save posts in the forum and have it update to the website Blue team's handling that by using local storages. Red team, a lot of idle time. Most of the activity I've seen here was on the is in the CSS. I now see activity here on the JavaScript. It looks like he's about ready to do something here inside of that add post function, but we're not seeing anything being added. It's a bit unfortunate that, you know, the skill level here is a bit low. So if you're watching right now and you know for a fact that you can do a great job here on DevWars, why don't you sign up for our next game? We're going to be posting that application link on our website, devwars.tv. You can sign up as soon as the stream ends. We're going to have that link available for you. 26 minutes on the clock. So we're styling the input and text area on the forums on the blue team. So what he's doing is he's floating every single element inside of the form to the left. He's giving it an 80% width, a border as well as a background. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Let's go on the blue team. Here we go. So that's that 80% width here. It's kind of weird how he's using float left. It is all up to the CSS guy as far as how he wants to style it. The submit button looks to be different from that save button. Don't know which one is going to be the actual submit. Most likely the submit button right here. What about the... Oh, let's go ahead and actually try to type something here. So, testing this, LOL, ha ha ha. Let's submit this. I for a second there thought I was going to do something. Don't see anything new added here. Let's go ahead and check out the red team now. All right, this is the red team. Okay, so we have these posts here. This is the sidebar. Everything is static at the moment. Nothing has been done in the JavaScript. Let's go back to the code. I'm gonna focus in on that JavaScript on the red team. Literally nothing on the JavaScript. On the blue team, we have a very good amount of JavaScript here. But quantity doesn't mean anything. We've seen a lot of times here on DevWars where JavaScript had 100 lines, like over 100 lines of code, and it didn't do anything. So for those of you who are watching, we did have some people mentioning this in the chat, but I'm gonna go ahead and announce it to some of you who aren't reading the chat. A great way to know if you're ready for DevWars or not is to watch one of our past streams and follow along as we do the countdown. So go ahead and have the stream running while you open C9 or your code editor and just go ahead and start coding as if you're playing DevWars and see how well you do in 60 minutes. And if you feel like you've done well, then you could go ahead and sign up and have that extra bit of confidence in the game. There is a bit of strategy that has to be considered during this game because of how limited you are during that time. It's not very likely that you have 60 minutes to code a website, but we are creating those conditions in this game. Not to mention only being able to code in a certain language. Yeah, so 38 minutes has been killed on both teams, and the red team, the most amount of activity I've seen here was on the CSS, and not much is even declared through that CSS. I mean, we see a lot of properties, but if we go to actual website, I mean, what can you do? So far red teams only has static content in their website because a lot of this a lot of these objectives are JavaScript based. So if red team doesn't know how to JavaScript, which is a bit of a shame for Jax to have signed up for JavaScript if he doesn't know JavaScript. I'm gonna skip the song. What red team can rely on here if they're not able to snag up any objective points is they can actually go ahead and just focus on a static website and get it styled very well. That way they can at least get points on the design that might be enough to make them win the game if blue team isn't able to actually get their JavaScript working. Let's look at the blue team's website. Alright, here we go. So let's try to type a title. Test blog, and I'm gonna submit this. Alright, so currently the JavaScript isn't working for the submit button. We'll see if they could get that up and running in 20 minutes. Let's take a look at the red team now. I'm going to refresh this website. Alright, so more has changed. That's good. So just static data here. That is a bit of an unusual header in my opinion. Let's look back at the code. See if anything has been added to the JavaScript. Literally, it's been the same here. Just open functions and containers and declared variables that have no actual actions or purpose in their JavaScript. So essentially, JavaScript hasn't done anything on the red team. So on the blue team, however, we have a lot of JavaScript, but nothing to actually show for on their website. So hopefully some kind of action is going to be seen here soon. If not, it's going to, if none of these teams are able to score any objective points, it's going to be all dependent on design. So at the very least, if the team for sure isn't, it knows for a fact that they're not going to be able to complete the objectives, red team might be on that trail. They should focus on design and getting. And another one of our voting categories is functionality. Maybe get at least one of the objectives working to be able to qualify for that functionality vote. Just at least one objective. Someone's asking, what is a Zen Garden War? A Zen Garden game mode is a 1v1 as opposed to classic game mode, which is a 3v3. So that 1v1's where we have just CSS versus CSS. We provide both teams with HTML content, and they have to style it. And those games are super exciting because you can actually see how powerful CSS can be, you know, given that both teams have the same HTML. We didn't have that today. We had two 3v3s. There's 18 minutes and 37 seconds left on this clock here. On red, no activity on the JavaScript. More HTML, that's good. We are highlighting the post titles. Cool. A lot of CSS here. Okay, so we have with 90% set on this container right here. I'm highlighting it on the blue team. And their margin, they're adding margin 0 auto to it, so that what that's going to do is it's going to center that container, which is in their HTML. Their container is not everything. It's just this section up here. Down here, they don't have the container wrapping up the post model. The post model is kind of separate from the container ID. In the JavaScript, we have a new function being born here. There's no name for this function, just kind of open. We have a function within that function being loaded called load posts. And, you know, I don't see that function declared anywhere else. So he's probably going to be creating that. Here later. Alright, let's refresh the blue team site and see what they got going on. We have some undefined elements, which is good and bad. It's good because it's showing that stuff is happening on their JavaScript. It's bad because, you know, it's not actually doing any good for the blue team. Look, they have this add new post button. Let me go ahead and click that. Okay, clicking it doesn't do anything. So I'm supposing when you click this, it's going to either expand some sort of form or open it in a lightbox for you to be able to add a you know, a blog. Let's go look at the red team. So we have this random input here. No labels or anything to suggest what that input requires. And no submit button. Still static data here. Maybe even though red team is technically behind as far as overall code elements goes, I would say they're doing better in you know, the overall look and feel of the website. Even though their background is still a bit unusual, but I mean, I think they're trying to go with the whole dev theme. You know, their whole dev blog. I think that's why they're using that, you know, image of that inspect element there. I'm going to go ahead and go back over to the code. So 15 minutes left on the clock. Blue team, I think they should be a bit worried here now because no JavaScript is actually working on either blue or red. So what that would mean is that no objectives are going to be accumulated on either blue or red. However, red team is looking pretty good as far as design goes, so they might actually win. So for those of you who have voted on blue, you might be feeling pretty nervous at the moment because you might lose your bits, dev bits. Some of you I've noticed have went all in, so you went super hard, going all in on blue team, feeling very confident that they were going to be in the lead. So the only way that it's going to look good here on the blue team is if they actually get at least one of these objectives working. That'll get them 1 point, but that might be all they need because getting at least one of these objectives working qualifies them to be able to, for you to be able to vote on the functionality. So let's refresh blue team's website and see if they're okay. So we have some different styles here. So add new post. So we're gonna go ahead and oh wow, check that out. Hold on, I'm gonna go ahead and type something in here. I'm actually replying to one of my mods at the moment. Alright, so let's go ahead and try typing something here. So let's say test title, testing blog post. And I'm gonna hit the submit button. Okay, nothing worked at the moment. Let me see if this close dialog works here. It does. Cool. Let me refresh and see if they maybe added anything here. Oh, maybe I have to grant admin permission. That is one of the objectives. Let's try. So test blog title, testing this out, and hit the submit. Nothing happened. Let me grant admin permission. So I clicked this button. Didn't prompt me to let me know if anything actually happened, but let's go ahead and pretend like it did and hit submit. Nothing happened as far as I can tell. Alright, let's refresh the red team site and see what they have going on. Alright, we do notice a new field here. This is more likely going to be their what we're going to be able to type in the description for the blog, because it is a text area. Still no placeholder inside of the element or label to to indicate what exactly we're supposed to be typing here. There's not even a submit button, which is standard for a form. We're not seeing any of that here. Red team needs to pick it up. I will say, however, their style is looking pretty good. It's not the best, but CSS is hanging in there. Alright, we're gonna go back to the code. Yeah, so 11 minutes on the clock. Blue team has some JavaScript working. Okay, on the red team, I just noticed they have some stuff going on now in the add post function. Well, yeah. So when you click the add post, they're wanting to be able to append a new. Okay, so they're wanting to append essentially add this element, this HTML element, to the website, and then fill in these the value here with what we typed in the form. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, it is a bit exciting to see that. This song is getting pretty scary. I'm gonna see a bit. Alright, so yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, they have 10 minutes. We're finally getting some activity in the JavaScript on the red team. They might be able to pull at least one of the objectives off. The blue team, however, they are sitting at 82 lines of actual code. That is including line breaks and stuff like that. He's currently selecting this variable. It looks like an array. Nine minutes and 25 seconds on the clock. Mods, please update blue and red and let them know of the time, so just so that they are aware that they're running pretty low here. The game's about to end. 9 minutes is not a lot of time. If you've played on DevWars, you know what I'm saying. 60 minutes isn't even enough time. Wow, 153 lines of code in CSS on the blue. Let's see what they're working on. Okay, they have this open container tag. It would have made sense to me for them to wrap that container tag, this ID right here. They have the closing tag for that container right down here, as opposed to right below this post model, which is a bit strange considering that a container generally would wrap everything, but they have the post model kind of separate from that. They might have a point, don't know. Their CSS is going to have to prove that. Alright, let's showcase what the blue has accomplished. Wow, the style has improved since we last saw here. Let's go ahead and click this grant admin permission. It didn't prompt me to let me know if anything actually happened, but we'll see. I mean, okay, so the add new post button isn't working at the moment. We may have caught this website at a bad time. They may have, they're working on it in real time. So I mean, whenever I refresh is what we're gonna see. Okay, so I just clicked this grant admin permission, and it says you are now undefined. So they're definitely working on that at the moment. Oh, check this out. So we got this working. So blog title and blog description. I'm gonna hit submit. This far. Alright. So we got a prompt there that's different. Still, the post is still not actually getting added here. Alright, what about the red team? Let's see what they got going on. Okay, they finally have that submit button. Still no, you know, labels or placeholders on their input, but I mean, obviously, we know just by the set of objectives here, this is going to be the blog title, and this is going to be the blog description. If I can type, and I'm gonna hit add post, and let's just cross our fingers that this is actually gonna post something. Okay, it looked like stuff I mean, okay, we have this undefined stuff going on the post list. That's good, but still no actual, you know, it's not working the way we assume it would be. Alright, back to the code. 6 minutes on the clock. Let's skip the song. All the songs, by the way, that we're playing is from Twitch Music Library. And we don't pick the songs that are in here. We're only playing them because Twitch, this is what we call Twitch safe. They're not going to mute our videos for playing this. 6 minutes on the clock. Mods let blue and red know. Still, this container tag with a selector with nothing inside of it. What's good is that well, I was gonna say that blue team imported a font. I don't see a font being imported from the, like a third-party font being imported from the red team. Just an educational point. If web design is so typography oriented, it is said that 90% of web design is typography. That's how powerful text can be on a website. So if that is the case, then you would imagine why font choice, like font family, is important then. I mean, Open Sans is a solid choice on the blue team. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh their website. We're gonna do one more run on their website, so this is the last time I'm gonna see their website until the timer's up, and then we're gonna run through the objectives. Hopefully we see more things. So I'm gonna hit this grant admin permission. You are now undefined. Alright, let's go ahead and hit the add post. Nothing happened. I'm clicking all this stuff, nothing's happening. 4 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock for that to work. Let's go to the red team. Okay, finally we have labels now. So let's type the title here and description, and let's hit the add post button. Hey, check that out. We actually have this updating right here. This actually posted. So finally, JavaScript working. Let's see if we could type something else. Another title, new description, and hit add post, and it is being added, and I could just keep adding stuff, and it's working. So finally, red team is surprisingly, wow, look at that. Check this out. We have all the stuff that I've been adding here actually populating on the actual website. So the comeback, man, the comeback is real, man. So if you betted on the red team, you're probably like, holy crap, I can't believe it right now. Blue team, I mean, they have a lot of code on the JavaScript, but what's pretty hilarious is that red team actually has stuff working. So right now we're actually catching red team in the JavaScript with this if-else statement. So in the else, they're saying they want to show the admin buttons. 3 minutes left on the clock. I'm not going to show the website until the timer's up, so that way it's a surprise on what these teams actually came up with, you know, during that time, during these 3 minutes. But I mean, you are more than welcome to refresh as much as you want in your own browsers by typing watch red or watch blue. But on the stream, we're not going to show them until... Still nothing in the container tag. Let's see what he's working on. A lot of CSS. A lot of CSS. Let's see what where his selector is. I think... Yeah, I think this is... No, that's Forever Young. That's HTML. That he's just highlighting that bit right there. Yeah, I'm not seeing where CSS selector is. I'm just gonna keep scrolling until I see some activity. We have a bunch of content that is commented out here. Okay, so that was all that static data that we saw earlier. Technically, they don't need that since they now have their JavaScript working, you know, on their website, as we saw earlier on Red Team. Yeah, they could get rid of that. That's a wise choice. Yeah, CSS. We have all this highlighted. Don't know what he's planning on there. 1 minute and 40 seconds left on the clock. Mods, let the teams know. In the JavaScript on the red team, nothing I can see being worked on. 1 minute, man. 1 minute. That's not enough time. So during this time, we actually recommend both teams don't work on new things, because something can happen where, you know, they're adding something and, you know, it could completely break their entire code, because the moment the clock hits 0, we're going to shut down the document. So whatever they have is what they have. There are going to be no exceptions from there. So if Red Team, for example, is in the lead and their site breaks, they're going to take a major hit and all their progress is going to be gone. 45 seconds left on the clock. When we when we get down to 10 seconds, I'm going to be counting down out loud, and our mods are going to be standing by to lock down those documents. 30-second hype. Okay, let's quickly see what we can see being worked on, you know, during these last couple seconds. And that's any activity. The only activity I'm noticing right off the bat is this HTML. They're adding in the footer, you know, who was made by. So a button called change level. Do we even see this ID inside of the? Yeah, we do. So there's an actual ID inside of here. Oh man, I missed the 10-second countdown. Game is over. Game is over. GG. So we watched them code for 60 minutes. And yeah, I mean, whatever they have is what we have. Let's start off by reviewing the blue team's website. I'm gonna refresh their site. Alright, this is the blue team's website. We're gonna read off objective number 1. Objective number 1 was the ability to create a blog post which, when posted, shows the title, user type, and date or time. So we're gonna grant admin position. We're gonna add a new post. We're gonna say blog title and test, and we're gonna hit the submit button. Bad user, no blogs for you. Okay, let's hit grant ad. Okay, I am now an admin. Okay, now let's submit. Wow, they were able to get that working. So blue team did get objective number 1. That's pretty impressive in that last amount of time. I'm actually pretty shocked that they were able to do that. Objective number 2, the blogs need to be editable and deletable. Okay, let's go ahead and edit this one right here, or delete this. Or delete this. Yeah, that's not working. So objective number 2, they didn't complete that. Objective number 3, a sidebar that lists the title of the post and removes them when deleted. Okay, this is the sidebar, what I'm highlighting right here. You know, clicking this doesn't actually delete it. None of that. It's working. They didn't get objective number 3. Objective number 4, they need to have 2 user account levels. User can edit or delete, and admin has all access. Let's go ahead and give them the point for that, because they did add the user and admin user access there. We'll give them the point. All right, for the red team now. Let's see what they got going on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off by. Okay, hang on. Let's go back to the blue. Some people are wanting me to reload. Test, test. Yeah, I'm not getting. Yeah, nothing has changed here. Alright, back to the red. Okay, so red team. Objective number 1. Let's go ahead and start up by typing blog title and description and hit add post. There we go. We did get that. Let's go ahead and change the level. I clicked it. I didn't get a prompt to see if it did, I don't know if it did anything or not, but let's try new blog testing LOL. Let's hit the add post. So yeah, I mean I am able to still post. Let's go ahead and give them the, well, yeah, they did complete objective number 1. Alright, objective number 2, the blog post needs to be editable. Let's see if we can edit it. No, there is no way we can edit it. Objective number 3, what do we have here? A sidebar that lists all, yeah, all the posts. Alright, so we are listing them, but you're not able to delete it, so they're not getting the objective there. Okay, objective number 4, 2 user account levels. We know we did test that. They didn't get that. So far, the blue team has 2 points and red team has 1. Let's go ahead and start the design votes for. Yeah, let's go ahead and start the design poll. So it's either blue or red. Type exclamation point blue or exclamation point red, depending on what team you're wanting to vote for, which team has the best design. That's what we're voting on here. This is the red team's website. Oh man, it's close. Yeah, if more votes come in on that red team, then they're able to score a tie, but it looks like blue team's votes are crossing that threshold indicated by that line. That is going to give blue a huge lead. It's close. This is the red team's website we're looking at right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch on over to the blue team site just so you can see what that site looks like. This is the blue team's website. That's what their design looks like. Oh man, it's like right on that line. Like one more red vote would give red team a huge, maybe 2 or 3. I don't know. I can't tell. It's like 51 to 22. 30 seconds left. 20 seconds left to vote. You can only vote once. You cannot change your vote once you place that. So I do 10 seconds left. I do see some people trying to change their votes in here. You can't do that. Alright, voting is over. Blue did score 2 points for design. It was close. I mean, if only a couple more votes came in on that red team, they would have scored a tie, a 1 point for each team, but unfortunately blue team did snag up those 2 points. Alright, let's vote on the functionality now. So functionality is, the way we define functionality here is how well the website works. So I'm just gonna, as you guys are voting, I mean I'm hoping you guys are viewing the website in your own browsers, by the way. So we're gonna add a post here. Let's do blog title. I'm just gonna go through it, description, and let's submit. And if I keep submitting, we do get all these blogs that are added. You're not able to delete any of them or edit or do anything here. You are able to switch permissions, and it does give you a dialog on what status you are. And depending on what status you are, it'll actually deny you the ability to post a blog. So that's cool on the blue team. What about the red team? Let's take a look at them again. So if I do blog and test, if I add, if I keep adding, I can actually add stuff. Blog title test. I can't keep spamming the submit add post button because it resets the form Yeah, I mean, essentially I can keep typing stuff in here and it'll create the post in here. You're not able to change the level on the red team, you know, but I mean, you got it going on over here. So I mean, it's looking super even here, blue and red. A little bit more on the blue team, but unless they're able to cross that threshold, they aren't going to get that 2 bonus lead. So 30 seconds left to vote. Ten seconds. Alright guys, it's over. So blue team got 40 votes and red team got 33. That makes it even. So let's go ahead and go over to the score page. This is the final score. As you can see here, blue team has 5 points, red team has 2, so that means blue team is the winner. Congratulations, blue team.